Hi people, it's Archivist here, coming at you with yet another top 5. The PlayStation 4 has well and truly established itself as an amazing console, but let us not forget that which came before. And so in this list, I'll be going through my top 5 PlayStation 3 exclusives. For the sake of argument, I'm still going to count the games as exclusives if the game was remade at a later date for another PlayStation device. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Number 5.
Killzone 3 is essentially a generic first-person shooter. There isn't a great deal of standout mechanics, nor is the story especially interesting. However, the thing about Killzone 3 is that it screams quality. The shooting, while nothing unique, feels tight and responsive. The graphics, despite not being distinctive, are of a very, very high quality. It's a game that, in a sense, epitomises the typical high-budget AAA first-person shooter of its generation, and it does it very well.
Number 4.
Those who love power trips almost certainly loved Infamous 2. You play as Cole McGrath, a human battery who can unleash electricity against his foes in the fight against evil. Furthermore, depending on your moral choices, you can harness the power of either ice or napalm. Infamous 2 does a great job of making you feel powerful, while still presenting you with a fair challenge. Few games manage to get the balance this right.
Number 3.
If you were to ask me what my favourite boss fight of all time is, then I will immediately and without hesitation point you towards the Poseidon fight in God of War 3. And while Poseidon is certainly the highlight of the game for me, bosses like this crop up throughout the entire experience. The fun combat system combined with the sheer scale of the monsters you fight makes for a truly unforgettable gorefest. Kratos is a protagonist not to be trifled with, as he dispatches his foes in the most brutal and creative ways imaginable. There's also the motivational tale of revenge, however admittedly it can only be fully appreciated by playing previous games in the series.
Number 2.
The Last of Us has risen to become one of the greatest video games of the modern age. While the combat mechanics are solid and the graphics are some of the best on the system, it is the story that grants this game its accomplished status. The relationship between Ellie and Joel is very powerful. Despite being thrown into such a hostile world, the two are still deeply relatable. There are some truly dark themes in this game: loss, murder, and one impossible decision.
It's number 1.
I can imagine that most people would choose The Last of Us as their number 1 PlayStation 3 exclusive. However, personally I enjoyed Uncharted 2 Among Thieves just a little bit more. I've always been a big fan of the Indiana Jones trilogy, and the Uncharted series essentially takes the framework and shapes it into a fantastic video game. The characters are very strong, particularly Nathan Drake and Sully, with some of the best voice acting out there. Between the second and third Uncharted games there really isn't much of a difference in terms of quality, but I went with the second simply because I preferred the storyline. So these were my top 5 PlayStation 3 exclusives, but what are yours? Let me know your top 5 in the comments below. There's Little Big Planet, Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, God of War Ascension, and many more choices I haven't mentioned here. As always people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.